Terrorism charges after setting a woman on fire on the CTA Blue Line train. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Sylvia Perez.
And I'm Tia Ewing, in for Terrence, who was out on assignment. A woman was set fire on a CTA train earlier this week and is still fighting for her life tonight. And now federal prosecutors are calling this an act of terrorism.
The suspect, who we now know is 50-year-old Lawrence Reed, just appeared before a judge. This attack happened Monday night, and prosecutors say Reed walked up to a 26-year-old woman and poured a clear liquid onto her head before setting her on fire. A 13-page complaint alleges that Reed filled a bottle with gasoline at a Garfield Park gas station about 30 minutes before the attack took place. Right now, we are awaiting news conference, that is, with the U.S. Attorney, the ATF, and other agencies, and we will bring that to you live as soon as it begins.
We want to take a live look outside right now. This is a look at Chicago. Hard to see it. It's really cloudy out there. Overall, gloomy and, I would say, dreary day.
Yeah, not the best. Chief Meteorologist Emily Walls has a first check of our forecast. What can we expect?
Well, the clouds, they're going to be lingering through at least the end of this work week, but then this weekend, I think we're going to shape things up. It looks really nice going into Saturday and Sunday. Let's take a check of our satellite and radar. So we don't have any rainfall out there, but again, we are kind of locked in with the cloud cover. That's going to continue through the night and then through the day tomorrow as well. And then by Friday, we're going to be talking about rain chances. So your temperatures out there, it's cool, but we are still seasonably cool. So your average high temperature for this date, right around 46, 47 degrees. And you can see out there right now, a lot of us are sitting in the low to mid 40s. Here's where we're headed throughout the next few hours. Temperatures are going to hold very steady. We're only dropping a degree, maybe 2 degrees through about 9 p.m. or so. And then even toward tomorrow morning, you'll notice how the temperatures are not expected to change all that much. However, tomorrow's highs looking better than today. We're just going to be stuck with the cloud cover. I'll have your forecast coming up.
Emily, thank you so much. A federal judge says more than 400 people in ICE custody must be released by Friday.
The judge is saying ICE never showed a clear reason to detain them. The arrests happened across Chicago from June to October. Most people qualify for release with a $1,500 bond. ICE says 57 people will stay in detention because the agency sees them as a public safety risk. The government has not explained how it decides that risk. The judge now wants a new list of more than 3,000 names this week so families get straight answers about who was arrested, why they were arrested, and who may go home next.
Well, Cook County is expanding its legal services for residents who are facing deportation. Board President Tony Preckwinkle made the announcement this afternoon.
And at the same time, a hearing on Capitol Hill is exploring the impact of immigration raids across the country. Casey Cronus is live in the loop with the latest on this. Casey?
Hi, Tia and Sylvia. Earlier today, U.S. Representatives Robin Kelly and Delia Ramirez joined other Democratic leaders on Capitol Hill. There, they joined a forum with the House Democrats Committee on Homeland Security. They heard from committee members who have been on the ground during federal immigration enforcement operations, along with activists. And that includes Chicago Reverend David Black. This is video of the pastor at the Broadview ICE facility in September when he says he was shot with pepper balls while preaching to agents on the roof.
ICE and the Border Patrol's use of force against peaceful protesters and our neighbors across Chicagoland has consistently been vicious and excessive. Agents of the Department of Homeland Security, led by their role model Gregory Bovino, have shown open contempt for the rule of law.
DHS Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin, though, said in a statement last month that Black was an agitator and ignored warnings to get off federal property. Black's testimony in D.C. comes on the same day that here at home, Cook County Board President Tony Preckwinkle announced the expansion of immigration services in the Public Defender's Office, sharing that next year's budget proposal will fund an additional 7 positions.
Supporting this work will keep families together and help prevent asylum seekers, longtime community members from being deported based on unlawful or unconstitutional government actions.
Since the launch of the division, our attorneys have represented more than 190 clients in immigration proceedings, including 49 people who were detained this year facing deportation.
Cook County Public Defender Sharon Mitchell Jr., who you just heard from there, also says that this office is on track to be the largest provider of these services in the region. Reporting live outside the county building, Casey Cronus, Fox 32, Chicago.
Thank you, Casey. Well, earlier today, Governor Pritzker had a personal meeting with a very prominent son of Illinois.
That, of course, would be Pope Leo XIV. Paris Schutz has more on what was talked about and how the meeting even came about. Paris.
Tia and Sylvia, there was one more notable Chicago area resident that met with the Pope today. More on that in a minute. But beyond the pomp and circumstance of today's meeting between Governor Pritzker and Pope Leo at the Vatican, the two did get down to brass tacks on the issue of immigration. Now, Pritzker and his wife, MK, met with Leo to talk about the conditions on the ground during Operation Midway Blitz. Pritzker's office said the Pope expressed relief that the operations had at least temporarily ramped down and gratitude to Chicagoans who stood up for any abuses. Now, it was time for gifts. The First Lady presenting the Pope with a drawing from an inmate at the Logan Correctional Facility. And, of course, a 4-pack of the Pope beer given to the Pope, along with a book here. That beer is brewed here by Burning Bush Brewery. Now, the governor then said to the Pope, why not come home?
To come to Chicago.
Oh, thank you very much.
From me and from my wife, and we look forward to welcoming you sometime.
Now, the meeting was arranged by Chicago Archbishop Cardinal Blaise Cupich. Comes as Pope Leo has been more outspoken about the immigration enforcement operations in the United States. He told reporters last night he understands the nation has immigration laws to enforce, but he believes they should go about it in a more humane way, especially when it involves people who have been here for many years.
We have to look for ways of treating people humanely, treating people with the dignity that they have. If people are in the United States illegally, there are ways to treat that. There are courts. There's a system of justice. I think there are a lot of problems in the system. No one has said that the United States should have open borders. I think every country has a right to determine who and how and when people enter. But when people are living good lives, and many of them for 10, 15, 20 years, to treat them in a way that is extremely disrespectful, to say the least, and there's been some violence, unfortunately. I think that the bishops have been very clear in what they said, and I think that I would just invite all people in the United States to listen to them.
Now, Pritzker wasn't the only Chicago area figure that met with the Pope. Here is White Sox shareholder and future owner Justin Ishbia. He will take over the team when Reinsdorf steps down. He met with the Pope at the Vatican today. He gave him a White Sox jersey signed by the 2005 World Series championship team and invited the Pope to come throw out the first pitch at right field. Spokesperson for Ishbia says the Pope expressed interest in that idea. And we're told, Sylvia and Tia, that it was just a coincidence that those two were meeting with the Pope at the Vatican on the same day. Just happened that they arranged that, Ishbia and Governor Pritzker. It was not a joint meeting.
Interesting.
All right, Paris, you're always on top of it. Thank you so much. Let's talk about this. Illinois just announced a new settlement in a rent pricing scheme that involves the largest landlord in the country. The deal totals $7 million. Graystar manages about 950,000 units. Attorneys generals in 9 states say Graystar shared rent information and used a pricing tool that relied on data from other landlords. That data helped shape rent levels in buildings across the country. The settlement bars, Graystar from using that tool again and from sharing sensitive rent details with competitors. The state still pressed their case against the company that built the tool. A court ruling could change how rent is set in the future.
We want to go back to the breaking story we told you about at the top of the newscast. U.S. Attorney, ATF, other agencies talking about that man who tried to set a woman on fire on the CTA line. Let's listen in.
Terrorism charge against Lawrence Reed, a 50-year-old Chicago resident, in connection with a brutal and vicious attack on a young woman on the CTA Blue Line on Monday evening at approximately 9 p.m. The victim was riding northbound, approaching the Clark and Lake subway stop in the Loop, minding her own business and reading her phone, when the defendant doused her with gasoline and lit her on fire. The surveillance video is
So again, we are following breaking news right now. Let's go back to that press conference.
Or watched. When the train stopped and the victim was able to muster the strength to stumble on the platform, two good Samaritans put out the flames. She remains in critical condition, and we pray for the victim's recovery. Mr. Reed is charged with committing a terrorist attack against the mass transportation system, specifically the CTA, which, as most of you know, I have declared to be a part of the Project Safe Neighborhood Zone. Once our office became aware of this incident and the defendant's identity, our team and our law enforcement partners, particularly ATF and the Chicago Police Department, worked through the night to gather the evidence and help us bring swiftly the charge that we filed with the court late this morning. I'd like to thank Special Agent Chris Ammon with the ATF and his agents, as well as Superintendent Snelling and the Chicago Police Department and the Chicago Transit Authority for their incredible work and their assistance in this investigation. We will advise the court about this defendant and his criminal history and other such matters at the upcoming detention hearing, which will be this Friday at 10 a.m. in Judge McNally's courtroom. At this time, I'm going to turn things over to ATF Special Agent in Charge, Chris Ammon. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for being here. My name is Chris Ammon. I'm the Special Agent in Charge with the ATF Chicago Field Division. As the U.S. Attorney mentioned, on Monday night, a horrific act of violence occurred aboard a CTA train at Clark and Lake. A 26-year-old woman was deliberately set on fire by Lawrence Reed in an unprovoked attack. The victim in this case is in critical condition, and our prayers are with her, her family, and everyone who was affected by this unimaginable tragedy. As the charges make clear today, violence of any kind on the CTA rail system or in our city is unacceptable and will continue to be met with the full force of the ATF, our law enforcement partners, and the United States Attorney's Office. I want to thank U.S. Attorney Andrew Boutros for his leadership and commitment to seeking justice in this case. I'd also like to extend my sincere appreciation to the Chicago Police Department and their investigative response team, their bomb and arson unit. ATF has a strong and proud partnership with the Chicago Police Department. CPD officers responded quickly to secure the scene, tend to the victim, process evidence, and then approximately 12 hours later detain Reed so that federal charges could be brought in this case. The evidence in this case will be processed and examined at the ATF National Laboratory in Maryland. Finally, let me say this. Lawrence Reed had no business being on the streets given his violent criminal history and his pending criminal cases. Reed had plenty of second chances by the criminal justice system, and as a result, you have an innocent victim in the hospital fighting for her life. Because of the swift action of CPD, ATF, and our law enforcement partners, there will be no other chances for Mr. Reed. Thank you.
We can take a couple questions if there are any.
Speak a little bit to that criminal history. Was involved in a fire at the Thompson Center?
That's correct. We believe he was associated with that 2020 case at the Thompson Center. That's still under investigation.
Mr. Butcher, obviously you've been able to see the surveillance video with your mouth. Can you walk us through it and explain how it is related to determination that this is a criminal attack? And also, what led ultimately for you to decide that this needed to be charged in federal court rather than just in
Well, let me start with your second question. As the criminal history that I'm sure will be made clear at the upcoming detention hearing, this is an individual with a very long and extensive criminal history on the state side. These are incredibly serious charges, and this is a case that now needs to be handled federally. This particular charge carries with it a life sentence, and if death were to happen to the victim, and obviously we pray and hope it does not, this would be a death-eligible case. In terms of the video evidence, obviously I want to stick to what's in the complaint itself, but we've watched the video and different angles of the video, and what we can say is this young woman was on her phone, going through her phone, minding her business, when Mr. Reed approached her and began throwing gasoline on her. And the video, if it does become public, which I suspect it will at some point, you'll be able to see exactly what occurred. But she was literally sitting down. I've seen reports that there was an altercation or that there was some kind of disagreement or argument that took place. Those statements are inaccurate and false. She was on her phone.
Are you concerned that his evident mental state could make it hard to have a terrorism charge stick?
We have a court system that deals with mental health and mental health competence, and so we know that this will go through that normal channel, and so he'll be able to avail himself of that entire sort of process. And so we have full confidence in all of that. I'm not aware of him ever being declared mentally incompetent in connection with any of the other extensive criminal history.
All right, thank you guys. Thank you guys. That's it.
You talked about someone who came to the aid on the platform.
Yes.
Your sister. Can you talk about the fact that people on the train did not assist? What was the video shows that you expressed that, but talk about what that says in your opinion, sir.
I don't want to share what it says in my opinion, other than the video evidence will speak for itself. There were other people who were on the train, other people who saw what was occurring, and I can appreciate that. I'm sure people were afraid. I'm sure that people did not want to get involved. Perhaps people were afraid to get involved. But what we could say is, even as she was on the ground trying to put herself out and is rolling on the ground, desperately trying to put out the fire, no one came to her aid until she was able to get off the train and to the platform. And when she finally stumbled down, two Samaritans came and put out all the blaze that was all consuming her.
And to the CTA director,
No, we're not. No questions. No, we're not.
If he was
Sir.
on the ban list, do you know if Mr. Reed was actually on the CTA ban list?
I don't believe that the CTA is taking questions, but Jason, you had a question?
I just had a question about the terrorism charge that requires prosecutors to prove that he had some kind of wider motive to terrorize the community at large rather than just an attack.
It doesn't, Jason, and the charge is 18 U.S.C. 1992. And so it is not a charge that I think this office may have ever brought before, so it's a new charge, but you'll see that it's a charge that has been used in other districts in connection with similar types of incidences. Correct. Correct.
Are there any other questions? No. All right. Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Listened in on that press conference, they're talking about this federal charge against Lawrence Reed, a 50-year-old, even saying that this is a new charge that has never been used before. He's charged with a terrorist attack after allegedly setting this woman on fire who was on board the CTA Blue Line train in Chicago's Loop. What I think was really interesting there, initially we heard there was an altercation between the two, but they wanted to clear that up, saying that this 26-year-old woman was simply on her phone, minding her own business. She did not provoke Mr. Reed, according to them, and right now she is fighting for her life. Also very interesting there. As she's on fire, she's rolling on the ground trying to put the flames out, was able to stumble off of that train at one point, ended up on the platform, and two good Samaritans came to her aid and put those flames out. Right now, though, she is still in critical condition. They also talked about this sentence that it carries with this charge. It is a life sentence if the victim dies. Of course, we are praying for her recovery. We don't want that to happen. But if it does happen, we know that sentence against Lawrence Reed could be stronger. The charges could be, and you heard him mention their death in all of this. So,
well, there is a court appearance for Lawrence Reed Friday at 10 a.m. and they said multiple times that he had a violent criminal history and he had no business being on the street. We're going to get more for you. We'll have this updated for you coming up on the news at 5.
Yes, we will. And of course, we have even more breaking news that we need to get to. A federal appeals court in Chicago is halting a use of force ruling. This is related to Operation Midway Blitz. A lower court recently ruled to restrict force in the immigration enforcement operations. But today's ruling overturned that for now, saying it was too broad. and put too many restrictions on the entire executive branch, including President Donald Trump.
And President Trump is expected to sign a bill that will force the Justice Department to release all of its records related to sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The DOJ has already released tens of thousands of documents to the House Oversight Committee, which is conducting its own investigation. This next release will include travel and financial records, emails, and interview transcripts.
Former FBI Director James Comey will have to wait to find out if his criminal case will be completely dismissed. The judge in the case said he would not make any ruling today on whether Comey is being vindictively prosecuted after the revelation that a full grand jury never saw the final indictment against him. Comey was charged in September with making a false statement to Congress and obstructing a congressional proceeding days after President Trump urged Attorney General Pam Bondi to prosecute Comey and others. Comey pleaded not guilty to those charges.
The Indiana National Guard is being deployed to the nation's capital. 300 soldiers will be supporting the D.C. National Guard starting next month. This is in support of President Trump's crackdown on city crime. Most of the soldiers hail from a unit that's based in Bloomington and also Gary. The mission is expected to last no longer than 4 months.
Well, we watched as several men took the bait, busted, I should say, on the block. A look inside Chicago's prostitution crisis.
She's walking up to a black Cadillac on 50th at Cicero facing eastbound. She's at the window talking, the passenger side window.
We have more on the undercover operation and who police are going after.
Republicans are racing to come up with a new health care plan before premiums spike for millions of Americans. We're going to take a look at the proposal just ahead. Welcome back. It's 4:23. Overcast, but what a beautiful shot, right? Look at that over there at the park. There's still some green and some fall colors to be seen.
Maggie Daly Park, right?
Yeah, and that's a
Grant
Pritzker
Park, too?
Pavilion.
Oh, yeah,
Pavilion
yeah,
where they
you
do the
can see it,
concerts.
yeah.
I love sitting out there in the summer.
Gorgeous,
Yeah,
absolutely
so nice.
gorgeous.
What
Emily,
can we expect? Yeah.
Which, how crazy is it that it's, what's the date today? The 19th
Yeah,
of
the
November,
19th.
and we still have leaves on our trees?
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, so usually around mid to late October, that's when we actually see our peak fall foliage. And a lot of us are still seeing some really pretty trees around the area. So we still have at least another week left. But I think after that, you know, things are going to start changing here pretty soon. Your temperatures right now sitting in the low to mid 40s. That's about where we were all day long today. And here's where we're headed over the next 48 hours. There's not going to be a ton of fluctuation when it comes to our temperatures. Tonight, in fact, we're staying steady all the way through tomorrow morning. We're going to be in the low 40s. Clouds, those are going to linger. So we're stuck under the cloud cover tonight and through the day tomorrow. Your high temperatures tomorrow are going to be slightly warmer than what we had today. That's going to put us in the low 50s. And then notice again, going into Thursday night and Friday, temperatures are going to be rather steady during the overnight. And then going into Friday, there's a chance that we could see the clouds break apart ever so briefly. But we also have a small chance for scattered rain showers, too. So kind of a mixed bag coming our way by Friday. We'll have high temperatures in the low 50s. But then looking toward the weekend, things look good. So on Saturday, we're going to get back into some sunshine. 51 degrees for your high on Sunday for the Bears game. Doesn't get much better than that. 57 degrees for the high temperature. And I think by kickoff at noon, we're likely going to be in the mid-50s. Sylvia.
All right. Thanks for that, Emily. A consumer alert for you. The personal information of more than 6,000 patients of St. Anthony Hospital may have been exposed in a breach. The Little Village Hospital says an unauthorized actor accessed a small number of hospital employee email accounts. This happened in February. At this point, the hospital says it has no evidence that any of that information has been misused. Impacted individuals are being notified.
Well, Illinois SNAP customers are receiving their remaining SNAP benefits after the program was temporarily halted because of the government shutdown.
The state expects all 1.8 million Illinois recipients to have those full benefits by tomorrow.
While that is in time for the holidays, some families are still facing hardships today. Christmas in the wards surprised dozens of families on the west side with $50 food vouchers at Save-A-Lot. An additional 120 vouchers will be given out on Friday on the south side at a Food for Less on 70th and Ashland. In total, the voucher giveaway is worth $10,000. Organizers say while SNAP benefits have been restored, there's still a lot of uncertainty with new restrictions expected to begin next year, and the Trump administration calling for all recipients to now reapply.
Christmas is not just what we do in December. Christmas is something we're going to be doing. We call it Christmas 365, and it's for needy families that need help, and that's why we're here.
Well, Christmas in the Ward is also teaming up with Mayor Brandon Johnson for 2 dinner and clothing giveaways this weekend.
On Capitol Hill, lawmakers are showing a rare glimpse of bipartisanship legislation that has been introduced that would allow air traffic controllers to get paid during future shutdowns.
I need Congress to take action. If there is another shutdown, I want to make sure air traffic controllers get paid. I think that would go a long way for both Republicans and Democrats to take this off the table.
This bill proposes funding salaries, operating expenses, and other FAA programs by tapping into a little-used $2.6 billion fund. Transportation Committee staffers estimate it would provide enough funding to keep FAA operating for 4 to 6 weeks. The fund was created years ago to reimburse airlines if the government plans for a military operation or another use and damages them, but that is not common anymore. The last time there was a claim was 2021. This bill is timely as another potential government shutdown is looming when the temporary funding extension expires come January 30th.
Rising healthcare costs were at the center of the government shutdown, which finally came to an end last week, only after Republicans promised to work with Democrats on a solution. Democrats want to extend expiring Obamacare tax credits to keep costs down, but several Republicans, including Louisiana Senator and Dr. Bill Cassidy, are working on proposals that would send federal assistance directly to consumers instead of insurance companies.
The president and I want to send 100% to patients to put into an account to spend on the health care that they want, not just the health care that the insurance company allows them to have.
Well, the law currently allows insurance companies to keep 20% of Obamacare subsidies as profit and to cover overhead costs, leading President Trump to say, quote, the only health care he'll support is sending the money directly back to the people. But critics argue that won't be enough.
You know, this is totally absurd. You get a $6,500 check and you have to pay for a $150,000 drug. There's only one path forward at this point, and that's to extend the tax credits.
At least a handful of Republicans also extending the tax credits, which expire at the end of this year, to give lawmakers more time to come up with an alternative plan.
Coming up, we're getting an update after a man is hit with federal charges accused of setting a woman on fire on a Blue Line train.
Plus, one Chicago community was tired of seeing sex acts right in their front yards.
And I saw one of our crack hookers laying in the alley. It looked like she was dead.
We heard from residents and went undercover with police. The sting operation that left several men in handcuffs and a lesson on sex trafficking.
Thank you.
We are continuing to follow breaking news. A 50-year-old man charged with an act of terrorism accused of setting a woman on fire.
The victim was riding a CTA Blue Line train on Monday when she was attacked, and tonight she is still fighting for her life.
Leslie Moreno is live with new details just released by the U.S. Attorney's Office. Leslie?
Hey guys, good evening. Yeah, federal prosecutors are taking the lead on this case, calling what happened a terrorist attack on a mass transit system tonight. New charging documents outline how investigators say the suspect allegedly planned and carried out the attack that left a woman critically injured. The U.S. Attorney's Office in Chicago announced 50-year-old Lawrence Reed is charged with committing a terrorist attack against a mass transportation system, a federal offense that carries up to life in prison. According to criminal complaint, Reed and the victim were riding a CTA train around 9 p.m. on Monday when he allegedly poured gasoline over her head and body. Moments later, prosecutors say Reed ignited the bottle, picked it up while it was on fire, and used it to set the victim on fire. The woman, engulfed in flames, managed to escape the train. Officials say they believe Reed was also responsible for the fire at City Hall a few days prior. Investigators say surveillance shows Reed buying gasoline at a Chicago gas station just 20 minutes before the attack. He was arrested the next day by Chicago police and transferred into federal custody today. Officials say this case remains active and more federal filings could follow as investigators review this case. As far as that woman, she remains in the hospital in critical condition. For now, reporting live from the Dirksen building, Leslie Moreno, Fox 32 News.
Well, let's bring it on back inside the studio. Beyond this postcard skyline is a part of Chicago where families say they are desperate for help. A stretch near Midway Airport overrun by open-air prostitution. Some residents now watch sex acts right from their living room windows. I can't make this up. When we went undercover with police as they cracked down on the buyers driving the demand, it's a look inside Chicago's prostitution crisis.
It's 5 in the morning, Lord. It's 5 in the morning. Block this drive-through.
July 2024. Shocking images start flooding in to our newsroom, revealing scantily clad, sometimes nude women wandering 47 to 50th Streets near Cicero Avenue. Neighbors showed us exactly what they're living with.
We find used condoms on the curbs.
They were fed up, tired of seeing the prostitutes and the trail of debris they left behind. And despite their complaints, the activity showed no sign of slowing down.
This looks like a traffic highway between 11:30 to 5:30 in the morning. You can't even get in the alley to park your cars.
Just steps away from the constant roar of planes at busy Midway Airport. It's not the sound of jets lifting off that has people losing sleep. It's the parade of cars, headlights flashing like signals, brake lights turning a residential street into a red light district. And then there's the foot traffic, cheeks out and light up shoes dancing under the street lights.
These girls bring their dates into their backyards and just do their business right in somebody's backyard.
It's not just backyards anymore. They're not even trying to hide it. But this resident of 12 years decided to hide his face out of safety concerns.
They've now pushed into the neighborhoods where they're doing their thing and walking in the neighborhoods. So it's not uncommon to see them walking around.
While prostitutes walk the blocks, so do children who call these streets home. This video was captured right in front of a home, showing a female prostitute performing a sex act, bottom out, mooning through a passenger car window, even though it was the crack of dawn. These scenes aren't new. This is illicit activity, and it has been going on for well over a decade.
You got good, hardworking, solid people there that have been in that neighborhood for years and years and are retired, and they see this every day.
Residents say they call Chicago police, but that doesn't stop anything. The calls keep coming. This document from the Office of Emergency Management showing in a 24-hour span starting August 22nd of 2025, 31 calls were made to 911 for prostitution in the neighborhood.
Part of the problem is you get the same answer from CPD saying they're busy, busy, busy. The prostitution issue, to me, should be just important because you're watching the neighborhood fall apart.
From above, you can see what's been haunting Cicero Avenue for years. Just look around. Prostitutes move up and down this neighborhood, moving right into the neighborhood blocks here, where we see pimps in cars parked on streets. And from there, the prostitutes move into alleys, even right in front of people's homes. Now, residents tell us that the activity would die down, especially when it gets cold, and when it gets warm, the block is hot all over again.
She's walking up to a black Cadillac on 50th at Cicero facing eastbound.
When Fox 32 Chicago got on the case, it forced the 22nd Ward Alderman Michael Rodriguez and Alderwoman Silvana Tavares of the 23rd Ward to call for backup. we joined the Cook County Sheriff's Police on an undercover sting operation. The mission to drive down demand for sex being sold on the streets.
So, man, do me first. Step out the car. Other side. What am I doing? Step out.
The undercover officer set up shop in the same area the prostitutes stand in.
To go.
So they just, when they say to go, they just made a deal.
That was the moment undercover deputies say the John agreed to pay for sex, part of a sting we watched unfold at 50th and Cicero Avenue.
So now what we want to do is we want to basically get the officers out of there as quickly as we can. So we don't want to light the area up and deter other people. So we want to clear out of here as quickly as possible. Then we'll get somebody back on the street.
Within minutes, more men took the bait. Day and night, one after another. The sting lasted for over 4 hours. In total, 8 men.
So you want to call your wife, right?
Were taken into custody. I asked Lieutenant Jim Draz with the Cook County Sheriff's Police, why not go after the pimps?
A street sting, what we're trying to do is deter buyers of sex. I promise you, we have plenty of things going on where we target pimps too. Right now, it's to basically get the buyers out of here, and hopefully, slow it down and get the residents happy.
After the arrest, cars were searched, towed, before being released. They speak with a victim support specialist with the Cook County Sheriff's Police.
Noticias que hay mucha prostitución, mucha trata de personas.
On the danger of participating in sex trafficking, those detained walk away with a hefty fine.
With the ticket and the tow, you're looking at a couple $1,000s.
Wow.
That's
a lot of money.
A lot of money.
In this economy.
The message is clear. Pay the price and stay away. And if you don't, there are consequences.
You weren't picking up a prostitute today.
No.
This livery driver says he was in the area waiting on travelers to pick up. Instead, he got picked up for solicitation.
No, if I was, she would be in my car. I was not. Not at all. I'm a livery driver.
Well, it's odd that you're in handcuffs, but you say you weren't looking for a prostitute.
Well, I parked in a parking lot. I literally parked in a parking lot to check my phone for my appointment. And some strange girl came up to me and knocked on my window and said, if you're looking for a date.
Another arrest, another story. But police say they've heard them all.
You hear all sorts of excuses, all sorts of reasons from all different kinds of people. There's not just one type of person that, comes out here, from all different incomes levels.
From 2023 to 2025, the Cook County Sheriff's Office saw a major spike in arrests of Johns, rising from 77 arrests in 2023 to 87 in 2024 and surging to 252 arrests by October 21st of 2025. Residents tired of waiting took their issues right to the top.
They showed me the photographs and videos, like they weren't embellishing anything. I mean, that's literally what's going on. I was like, wow, this is really, really bad.
Under Public Act 98-538, the state of Illinois eliminated the possibility of charging someone with felony prostitution in 2013. The crime is charged as a Class A misdemeanor.
Now the laws have been changed to where you cannot charge them in a way where you can have them in custody for any length of time, and so that has made that a lot more challenging.
The county isn't alone on this. Near the action, the Chicago Police Department is keeping an eye in the sky, monitoring for any prostitution that pops up. CPD and the Cook County Sheriffs will continue unannounced sting operations on the streets.
The more we're out here, the more presence they can be felt. Hopefully it slows it down.
Once a drive-through for desire, now a checkpoint for accountability. Police are flipping the script, turning the red light blue, reclaiming Chicago's streets one block at a time.
They've had enough. They're tired of it. Do it in your backyard. Do it in your backyard.
And we wanted to take a deeper look at the numbers specifically on Cicero Avenue from these stings. In 2023, we know 4 Johns were arrested. 5 females were detained in the year 2024. Even more, 31 Johns arrested, 15 females detained. And in this year, 2025 to date, 12 Johns have been arrested, 8 females detained. All of the women were connected with victim support services and released. The goal here is very clear: more Johns facing consequences and more women getting a path out. Of course, we'll have more news and weather right after this break.
It's starting the day with hope, knowing you're in the right place, having access to advanced treatments and the most experienced cancer experts. When you're facing cancer, it's not just one thing that makes the difference. It's everything. The big, the small, the unexpected, that helps you keep moving forward. Advocate Healthcare. Cancer care that makes the difference.
Wait. Welcome back. The prestigious Michelin Awards for Outstanding Restaurants were announced last night.
And while we know Alinea was downgraded to 2 stars from 3, 2 new restaurants have been upgraded. Chicago's Filipino fine dining restaurant and bakery Kasama, which frequently draws lines around the block for its breakfast and lunch, received a 2nd star last night. It now joins the ranks of Alinea, Ever, and Oriole as Chicago's 2-star rated spots. And then Feld, a tasting menu restaurant in Ukrainian Village that opened last year, was honored with its 1st Michelin star. It also earned a Green Star awarded to restaurants for their sustainability efforts. Now, what makes the Feld story so incredible is that it didn't open to the best reviews in 2024, but chef Jake Potashnik didn't let that stop him from achieving his dream. Feld's journey to chasing a Michelin star is currently profiled on a new streaming series. But the question is, what does it take to win a Michelin star?
The stars are maybe the ultimate culinary accolade, or famously anonymous inspectors are working on the ground. You know, they are anonymous to fairly assess the quality of the restaurants, focusing on the cuisine.
And in case you didn't know, the Michelin Guide is owned by the French tire company. It came about to encourage motorists to drive more, visit restaurants and different sites, and boost car sales and tire purchases. And over time, the Guide has become a prestigious benchmark for quality dining.
Yeah, fun time, right? Dance and music can be therapeutic and healing, and Broadway in Chicago is showing patients just how it's done. The Broadway company of A Beautiful Noise, the Neil Diamond musical, created a partnership with the Parkinson's Foundation. One of their centers here is at Rush University Medical Center. The partnership has been expanded with the North American Tour Company, so they held a workshop for patients at Rush to teach them choreography and a song from the show. Neil Diamond, who has Parkinson's disease, stopped touring because he was dealing with symptoms of the illness. Ahead at 5, we'll hear from one of the show's performers about the significance of this program and the cast's goal of raising $1 million for the Parkinson's Foundation. This is hard to believe, but we are just a week away from Thanksgiving. Will your forecast thaw out? That is the big question.
Yes, it is, and Emily's coming back with the full forecast after the break. But first, here's a look at your trip home.
It's going to be a long one. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Look at Chicago.
Oh,
so
it's pretty.
beautiful.
Even with the overcast skies, huh?
Yeah, girl, you're looking good. Look at her. Well, it might be a boy. I don't know.
Soon that girl will be green and red because
Yes.
everyone's getting ready for Christmas, right?
Yeah, we're all getting ready. Looking forward to it.
Do you have your Christmas tree up, Emily?
No Christmas tree for me
I need
yet.
to get to it.
Yeah,
the Christmas lights are on the house.
Okay. On
But
the outside?
On the outside,
Yeah.
but no Christmas tree or any other decor.
That's the way to do it while the weather's still warm, right? Like get those outdoor lights up if you end up going that route. And actually, if you still need to, it's going to be a really good weekend for it. Yes, before it gets too cold. So take a look at the 5-day forecast here. Tomorrow, no issues. We're just going to remain cloudy. But then on Friday, we do have a chance of rain. We're looking at scattered showers coming through on Friday, but we are going to dry things out just in time for the weekend. And we're going to end up seeing some sunshine this weekend too, and that's going to help to boost temperatures a little bit. So your high temperatures today, we ended up topping out in the mid-40s. This is fairly seasonable for this time of the year. Your average high sits right around 46, 47 degrees. And you'll notice that tomorrow we're jumping into the low 50s. We're going to stay there for a couple days. But then by Sunday, it's going to get very warm. We're talking high temperatures that are going to be about 10 degrees above average for this time of the year, and that's going to put us in the mid, possibly even sneaking into the upper 50s. So your satellite and radar, things are quiet for now, but again, still locked in with cloud cover. That's going to be the story tonight and through the day tomorrow. So there's a storm system that's passing just south of us. And as far as rainfall is concerned, I'm not worried about that tomorrow, but I do think we're going to see a couple showers moving in on Friday. And this model here is really trying to clear us out tomorrow, but I think we're going to hold on to the cloud cover. I'm expecting another day that looks very similar to the one we just had. And then on Friday, that's when we start to see these showers lifting north across the area. I do expect it to be fairly scattered in nature, so I don't think it's going to be this widespread event that all of us are seeing in all-day rain on Friday. But still, if you have Friday plans, going to be out and about, just make sure you're prepared with those umbrellas. Now, looking ahead to Sunday. Sunday, of course, is going to be a big day around here because of the Bears game. But by kickoff at noon, things look stunning. So Mother Nature really got the memo here. We're going to be sunny around midday. Lots of sunshine expected during the afternoon. Soldier Field temperatures should be warming into the mid, if not the upper 50s. So it's going to be beautiful for the Bears on Sunday. For tonight, 42, we'll have winds becoming light and then eventually south-southwesterly tomorrow. Your 7-day forecast tomorrow, 52. Same thing on Friday, but we're going to add in some rain showers to your forecast. Dry skies expected over the weekend. Partly cloudy skies on Saturday. Sunday, partly cloudy, a high of 57. We still have dry skies on Monday, but then Tuesday and Wednesday, there's a chance that we could have a few more showers sneaking in. We'll be right back.
Trending now today is National Play Monopoly Day. Did you know this? It's one of the most
I know now. I'm laughing at Scott still. Go ahead.
I love it when you start laughing. Okay, so anyway, Tia, guess what?
What?
Today is National Monopoly Day. Okay?
Wow.
So monopoly can be traced back to 1903. Get this, is this a word? Anti-monopolist.
Okay.
Lizzie McGee created a game intended to teach people the negative aspects of concentrating land in private monopolies. Parker Brothers bought the rights to the game in the 30s. Now you know.
Yes,
Played?
I have played before. Yeah, I think it's a good
fun.
time with the family.
Yeah, it's fun, especially over the holidays. But sometimes it can last forever.
It does.
Right?
I love getting like I think it's hotels. I haven't played in a while.
Yeah.
Those are all fun.
Hotel, motel, Holiday Inn.
A Holiday Inn. And fun fact, Monopoly is the most popular board game for family fights, followed by Scrabble. So probably Thanksgiving, people will be playing it. Well, the Chicago Bears are also trending. The team has launched an inaugural girls flag football league in Spain. The regional leagues will be located in Madrid and Barcelona. The Bears already have leagues in the U.S. and the U.K. sponsoring Bears-led clinics and school programs for young women. I love that. And let's keep it with the topic of our youth. The Leo High School Choir still making headlines after their historic run on America's Got Talent. I still watch the reruns because it's that good.
So amazing.
So
They're
good.
still having a great time. Recently, the young men rocked the stage with Blake Shelton and Keith Urban. They performed at the CME Group Tour Championship charity concert in Naples, Florida. And get this, the CME Group chairman is also a Leo grad. How about
really
that?
Awesome.
Right? This is going to be a year they will never forget.
It's time to put out a record.
Yeah, I think
an album,
so.
I
yeah,
think.
like I agree. That's a great idea.
They should have for Christmas. That would have been in everybody's stocking stuff.
Too late.
All right, it's not too late. Well, thank you so much for watching First at 4.
Here are Don and Scott with the news at 5.
And now at 5, Pritzker and the Pope. More on their meeting at the Vatican and the major ongoing issues the two discussed.
People in Cook County facing deportation are getting more help. Legal services now being expanded.
And we are following breaking news. An arson attack on the CTA Blue Line is being called an act of terrorism. Thank you for joining us at 5. I'm Dawn Hasbrook.
And I'm Scott Shannon. Let's get right to that breaking news. Earlier this week, a 26-year-old woman was lit on fire on a CTA train.
The suspect now facing a federal terrorism charge. Leslie Moreno is live with new details just released by the U.S. Attorney's Office. Leslie.
Hey guys, good evening. Yeah, federal prosecutors are taking the lead on this case, calling what happened a terrorist attack on a mass transit system. Tonight, new charging documents outline how investigators say the suspect allegedly planned and carried out the attack that left a woman critically injured. The U.S. Attorney's Office in Chicago announced 50-year-old Lawrence Reed is charged with committing a terrorist attack against a mass transportation system, a federal offense that carries up to life in prison. According to criminal complaints, Reed and the victim were riding a CTA train around 9 p.m. on Monday when he allegedly poured gasoline over her head and body. Moments later, prosecutors say Reed ignited the bottle, picked it up while it was on fire, and used it to set the victim on fire. The woman, engulfed in flames, managed to escape the train.
This is an individual with a very long and extensive criminal history. On the state side, these are incredibly serious charges, and this is a case that now needs to be handled federally. This particular charge carries with it a life sentence, and if death were to happen to the victim, and obviously we pray and hope it does not, this would be a death-eligible case.
Investigators say surveillance shows Reed buying gasoline at a Chicago gas station just 20 minutes before the attack. He was arrested the next day by Chicago police and transferred into federal custody today. Officials say this case remains under investigation and more federal filings could follow as investigators continue reviewing this case. As far as for that 26-year-old woman, she remains in the hospital in critical condition. For now, reporting live from the Dirksen building, Leslie Moreno, Fox 32 News.
All right, let's talk about the weather because, yes, it was a little dreary, but the forecast, especially for the weekend, looks a lot brighter, doesn't it, Emily?
That's right. So it's getting a little bit better each day, especially as far as temperatures are going, because today we topped out in the mid-40s, which, by the way, is actually very seasonable for this time of the year. But tomorrow we're going to be going up into the low 50s. We stay in the 50s right on through this upcoming weekend. But the cloud cover that we have out there today, we've been really locked in with cloud cover. That's going to continue tonight through the day tomorrow. And then by Friday, we're actually talking about rain chances, but we're going to get all the clouds as well as the rain out of the way just in time for the weekend ahead. So your temperatures outside right now, many of us sitting in the low to mid 40s. And you'll notice here throughout the evening, temperatures aren't expected to change all that much. We're going to remain very steady under that cloud cover. And then even late tonight into early morning tomorrow for our overnight low temperatures, we're still only in the low 40s. So we'll get a head start to that warmth tomorrow. Again, highs in the 50s. I'll show you that forecast coming up.
A federal appeals court in Chicago halting the use of force ruling related to Operation Midway Blitz. A lower court recently ruled to restrict force in the immigration enforcement operations. However, today's ruling overturned that, at least for now, saying it was too broad and put too many restrictions on the entire executive branch, including President Trump. Meanwhile, a hearing on Capitol Hill today exploring the impact of immigration raids across the country.
And while that was underway in Washington, Cook County Board President Tony Preckwinkle was making a major announcement here at home. Casey Cronus is live in the loop with more. Casey.
Hi, Don and Scott. The Cook County Public Defender's Office will be doubling the number of attorneys on staff, specifically to help support residents who are facing deportation. President Preckwinkle announced the move alongside Cook County Public Defender Sharon Mitchell Jr. today. Preckwinkle says they've accounted for more positions in next year's budget proposal. This comes after the county launched its immigration division with a pilot program back in 2020 before making it permanent in 2022. Since its debut, their office has represented nearly 200 clients in immigration proceedings, nearly 50 of them this year alone.
Next year, we are going to double the number of attorneys in the Immigration Division from 4 to 8, and by 2027, we expect to have a total of 12 attorneys dedicated to assisting our clients.
This expansion will allow the public defender to broaden outreach and respond to more cases that come into the Family Support Network hotline and the Midwest Immigration Defenders Alliance hotline, the region's primary entry point for legal service requests.
Also today, a forum with the House Democrats Committee on Homeland Security was held on Capitol Hill. They heard from community members who have been on the ground during federal immigration enforcement operations, along with activists. And that includes Chicago Reverend David Black. This is video of the pastor at the Broadview ICE facility in September, when he says he was shot with pepper balls while preaching to agents on the roof.
ICE and the Border Patrol's use of force against peaceful protesters and our neighbors across Chicagoland has consistently been vicious and excessive. Agents of the Department of Homeland Security, led by their role model Gregory Bovino, have shown open contempt for the rule of law.
DHS Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin last month in a statement called Black an agitator, saying he and others ignored commands to get off of federal property. Black claims he never received any warnings. Reporting live in the loop, Casey Cronus, Fox 32, Chicago.
Earlier today, Governor Pritzker had a personal meeting with a very prominent son of Illinois.
That, of course, would be Pope Leo XIV. Paris Schutz has more on what was talked about and how that meeting came about.
And it was not the only prominent Illinoisan that the Pope met with, Dawn and Scott. Now, beyond the pomp and circumstance of today's meeting between the governor and Pope Leo, the two did get down to brass tacks. On the issue of immigration, Pritzker and his wife, MK, met with Leo to talk about conditions on the ground during Operation Midway Blitz. Pritzker's office says the Pope expressed relief that the operations had at least temporarily ramped down for now, and gratitude at Chicagoans who stood up for any abuses. Then it was time for the gifts. The First Lady presented the Pope with a drawing from an inmate at Logan Women's Correctional Facility downstate, a book, and, of course, a 4-pack of DePope beer, which is brewed here by Burning Bush Brewery. And the governor then said, hey, why not pay a visit back home?
To come to Chicago.
Thank you very much.
From me and from my wife, and we look forward to welcoming you sometime.
Now, this meeting was arranged by Chicago Archbishop Cardinal Blaise Cupich. Comes as Pope Leo has been outspoken about immigration in the United States, telling reporters last night he understands the need for immigration laws, but believes that deportation should be done in a more humane manner.
We have to look for ways of treating people humanely, treating people with the dignity that they have. If people are in the United States illegally, there are ways to treat that. There are courts. There's a system of justice. I think there are a lot of problems in the system. No one has said that the United States should have open borders. I think every country has a right to determine who and how and when people enter. But when people are living good lives, and many of them for 10, 15, 20 years, to treat them in a way that is extremely disrespectful, to say the least, and there's been some violence, unfortunately. I think that the bishops have been very clear in what they said, and I think that I would just invite all people in the United States to listen to them.
Now, Pritzker wasn't the only Chicago area figure that met with the Pope. There is White Sox shareholder Justin Ishbia, who will become the next majority owner when Jerry Reinsdorf steps down. He's there with the Pope, giving him a White Sox jersey signed by the 2005 World Series championship team. He invited the Pope to come throw out the first pitch at Rate Field when they build a new stadium, and a spokesperson for Ishbia tells me the Pope expressed enthusiasm about that particular idea. By the way, this visit was not coordinated with the governor and the White Sox minority shareholder there. It was just happenstance that the two were in the Vatican with these meetings scheduled with the Pope on the exact same day. Scott?
Serendipitous. Yep. All right, thank you, Paris. No more panicking over whether you have your ID at the airport or when you're out for drinks. You can now carry a digital version of your Illinois driver's license or ID, and yes, you can even buy booze. We spoke to Illinois Secretary of State Alexi Giannoulias earlier on Good Day Chicago, and he told us why he's so fired up about these updates.
This is something that everyone in Illinois can be proud of. We're setting the pace from a technological standpoint in the Secretary of State's office. And yeah, you know, there's a lot of tough days in politics, but this is a great day, and to see the enthusiasm and people feeling good about their state and what we're able to do, it's one of the best parts of the job.
So right now, this feature is only available to iPhone users. Giannoulias says Android users will have access in the next few months. This will work at TSA checkpoints in more than 250 airports and at businesses that opt in. Police do not have to accept the digital ID.
Police are investigating after several businesses were broken into in Hyde Park. This all happened early yesterday morning. You're looking at surveillance footage from Huarache's Mexican restaurant. The owner says he got away with $200. And he says it comes at a time when his business was already struggling with a decrease in business because of immigration enforcement. Chicago police say 4 other businesses were also burglarized all along the 1600 blocks of East 55th and 56th Streets. No arrests have been made. Illinois just announced a new settlement in a rent pricing scheme that involves the largest landlord in the country. The deal totals $7 million. Greystar manages about 950,000 units. Attorneys general in 9 states say Greystar shared rent information and used a pricing tool that relied on data from other landlords to drive up housing costs across the country. The settlement bars Greystar from using that tool and from sharing sensitive rent details with competitors. The states still have a case against the company that built the tool. A court ruling could change how rent is set in the future.
Still ahead on the news at 5, we're live in North Carolina, where the Trump administration is expanding its latest immigration crackdown.
Plus, one neighborhood in Chicago is fed up. They say prostitution is taking over their streets. The story next. The Department of Homeland Security says federal agents have arrested 275 people in Charlotte, North Carolina since Saturday.
It's all part of the Trump administration's latest immigration crackdown, the operation known as Charlotte's Web.
Chelsea Torres is live in Charlotte right now, where there is a protest going on behind her. Chelsea, what are people saying?
Don Scott, good evening. Families here that I've been talking to say that they're still living in fear and they will not leave their homes. Even businesses in this part of town are staying closed because they're concerned that Border Patrol agents will profile their employees and customers.
And the fact that I have to call my family members to also let them know, like, don't leave your house, I'll go get you your groceries.
These are people, even if they hadn't done anything, they have that fear.
The Department of Homeland Security says they're targeting the worst of the worst criminal illegal aliens right here in Charlotte. This is video we just got today. Now, these arrests are also including murderers, rapists, and pedophiles. And the feds say these criminals were back out on Charlotte streets because of the state's so-called sanctuary policies.
Charlotte, specifically, we had a high number of child abuse, trafficking, neglect type of instances that we had identified over our work there. And so these operations are based on where we have a criminal element to our illegal alien population.
Meanwhile, North Carolina officials say that Border Patrol agents will be heading to the state's capital in Raleigh, but DHS is saying that they are not going to give any information about future operations so they do not put their agents at risk. In Charlotte, Chelsea Torres, Fox 32, Chicago.
The Indiana National Guard is being deployed to our nation's capital. 300 soldiers will support the D.C. National Guard beginning next month. This is in support of President Trump's crackdown on city crime. Now, most of these soldiers hail from units based out of Bloomington and also Gary. The mission is expected to last no longer than 4 months.
The Justice Department has revealed the grand jury that charged former FBI Director James Comey was not presented with a copy of the final indictment. Prosecutors made the admission while being questioned by the judge overseeing the case. Comey's lawyers say that lapse was grounds for dismissal of the case. He has pleaded not guilty to charges accusing him of making a false statement and obstructing Congress. President Trump is expected to sign a bill forcing the Justice Department to release all of its records related to sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. When and if he signs the bill, the DOJ would have 30 days to release all unclassified materials, including travel and financial records, emails, and interview transcripts. There is already some fallout over documents released earlier this week. Former Harvard president and Clinton Treasury Secretary Larry Summers announced he's resigning from the board of OpenAI after emails revealed he continued to communicate with Epstein after his 2008 conviction.
And when these files come out, and they will, it's going to shock the conscience of this country because the survivors have told us that there are a lot of people implicated.
The goal for Democrats in this one has been to get Donald Trump. And I got news for them. They're not going to get Donald Trump. They're going to get a lot of their own.
The DOJ has already released tens of thousands of documents to the House Oversight Committee, which is conducting its own investigation.
The Trump administration is taking major steps towards dismantling the Education Department. Agreements signed yesterday shift several offices and grant programs out of the department's control. And one of the documents places the Department of Labor in charge of funding for K-12 schools, including Title I schools. President Trump calling for the department to be dismantled and gives the states authority over education. The department says the agreement will not impact money granted by Congress to states, colleges, and schools.
Now that the government is back open, Republicans are trying to make good on their promise to address high health care costs. Democrats want to extend expiring Obamacare tax credits to keep the costs down. But several Republicans, including Louisiana senators and Dr. Bill Cassidy, are working on proposals that would send federal assistance directly to consumers instead of insurance companies.
The president and I want to send 100% to patients, to put into an account, to spend on the health care that they want, not just the health care that the insurance company allows them to have.
The law currently allows insurance companies to keep 20% of Obamacare subsidies as profit and to cover overhead costs. At least a handful of Republicans also support extending these tax credits, which expire at the end of this year, to give lawmakers more time to come up with an alternative plan. Scott?
Sylvia, thanks. So is it a spaceship? Is it a comet? NASA's been awfully quiet about the interstellar object known as 3I Atlas, likely due to the government shutdown. But today, the agency released new photos.
From the moment it was first spotted in July, it has been the focus of a lot of questions over exactly what it is and where it came from. Well, NASA scientists say these new images show it is in fact a comet that came from interstellar space. That's a region of space between solar systems. That means 3I Atlas originated elsewhere and is just passing through. The object has led to a lot of theories about its origin, including whether it could be an alien spacecraft. NASA put that idea to rest today, saying the object is definitely a comet, albeit a very rare one.
This object is a comet. It looks and behaves like a comet and all evidence points to it being a comet. But this one came from outside the solar system, which makes it fascinating, exciting, and scientifically very important. This is only the third interstellar object like this that humanity has ever found.
Scientists say 3I Atlas has been traveling through space for billions of years and may even be older than our own solar system. It makes its closest approach to Earth 1 month from today, when it will be 170 million miles away, which is about twice the distance between the sun and the Earth. For more science, let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Emily Walls.
I feel like I need to reread that story in slow-mo to let all of that just like really click and settle in. Space is so crazy.
It is.
It really is.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here at home, things are not so crazy. It's actually very calm out there this week. We have cloudy skies. Temperatures have been sitting in the 40s today, low to mid 40s out there currently, and we're going to stay about the same throughout the evening, the overnight hours. Here's the next 48 hours around here. Notice how temperatures, they're really not going to change all that much. And it looks like the cloud cover, that's going to continue through tonight, through the day tomorrow. Tomorrow's high temperatures are going to be warmer than what we had today. We're going to have a southerly breeze, so that's going to bring in some slightly milder air. Temps will top out in the low 50s Thursday afternoon. Then Thursday night into Friday, we stay mostly cloudy. Friday, there's a chance that we could be seeing some scattered rain showers. Temperatures, though, still looking pretty good in the 50s, and that's above average. Your typical high temperature for mid to late November now sits in the mid 40s, so we're staying above average the next several days. We have that rain chance on Friday into Friday night. After that, we're going to dry things out just in time for the weekend. 51 degrees, partly cloudy skies on Saturday. Sunday looking great for the Bears game. We're going to be partly cloudy to mostly sunny. We'll have high temperatures near 57 degrees. We'll be right back. We are down.
We begin across America in Los Angeles, where a singer is reportedly being considered a suspect in the death of a 15-year-old girl.
The body of Celeste Rivas Hernandez was found earlier this year in the front trunk of a Tesla linked to the singer David. There are also reports LAPD is treating the girl's death as a homicide. She was reported missing last year.
New details tonight in the death of a Florida teen on a cruise ship. Reports say the FBI could be investigating a step-sibling of 18-year-old Anna Kepner. Her body was found by a housekeeper underneath a bed on that ship on November the 7th. Investigators have not released any other details, including the cause of death.
A hiker in Yellowstone National Park was caught on camera making a very dangerous decision, approaching a pack of black wolves off a trail. When one of them got too close, he sprayed something at them, likely bear spray, to scare it off. The man and wolves eventually went their separate ways. The National Park Service says they have no reports of wolves attacking tourists, but added this could have ended very badly.
A Christmas tree that will be on display at the White House, officially beginning its sojourn to our nation's capital. This is a 25-foot con-color fir, cut down and loaded onto a trailer at the Corson's Tree Farm. That's Sidney Township, Michigan, if you're wondering. The farm won a national contest to supply the tree that will be on display in the Blue Room. It was the farm's 6th time competing in the contest.
Oh, it's pretty exciting. You know, it's been a long process preparing for this. You know, going back to the summer after winning the contest, and immediately your focus shifts to, okay, what's next? Now we need to find a tree large enough to fit the standard for what they need for the White House and for the Blue Room, and so yeah, it's been pretty exciting, pretty surreal, really.
And now the wait for the drive. The tree will reach the White House by Monday.
Students at one high school in New York don't just have classmates, they have pet mates. The school has an exotic blend of animals they bring to class. They're not mascots, they're part of the mission. From koi ponds to parrots, snakes to turtles. The private Catholic school believes caring for creatures teaches lessons no textbook can.
As advanced as the academics are and as much we want them to develop their minds, there's a education of the heart that I think is very essential for their well-being and their whole development.
While the dogs and fish usually stay inside, step outside and you'll find peacocks and peahens proudly parading through the courtyard.
It's a good time. Still ahead in the news at 5, the Neil Diamond musical now in Chicago, the tour partnering with the Parkinson's Foundation.
He is one of the millions of people living with the disease. We'll tell you how the musical is helping patients in Chicago. And more than 4,000 Thanksgiving meals are being prepared. We'll take you inside the mission.
I'm Cassie Carlson. The Bears are preparing for the Steelers, not knowing who will start at quarterback. We have the latest on Aaron Rodgers' wrist injury and when we could see Kyler Gordon back on the field later in sports.
Now at the bottom of the hour, Michelin stars gained and lost in Chicago.
Bit of a gloomy day out there, but there is good news. The weekend looking fabulous.
First, it's a side of Chicago you don't see on postcards. A stretch of road near one of the city's busiest airports that has turned into a red light corridor.
Yeah, this one is a real head scratcher. Families say, in fact, it is so bad they're actually watching sex acts right outside their front windows.
Tia Ewing went on an undercover sting. She's here now. This targeted the buyers and the chaos that has been haunting the block for years.
Yeah, we're talking over a decade. I think most people that live in Chicago, they're familiar with this stretch, which is crazy that it's gone on for this long. Beyond the postcard skyline is part of Chicago where families say they're desperate for help. A stretch near Midway overtaken by open-air prostitution. Some residents now watch those sex acts, as you mentioned, Scott, from their living room windows. We went undercover with police as they cracked down on the buyers driving the demand. It's a look inside Chicago's prostitution crisis.
And I saw one of our crack hookers laying in the alley. It looked like she was dead.
You heard them. That's one of the residents. It's a side of Chicago residents say they're desperate to hide. A stretch of streets near Midway Airport overtaken by open-air prostitution. Families report seeing women roaming the blocks, scantily clad, sometimes nude, leaving trash and debris behind. From 47th to 50th Streets along South Cicero Avenue, neighbors say the activity is nonstop. We're talking day and night. Foot traffic, cars circling, even backyard encounters have residents calling police. But the calls keep coming. In one 24-hour period this summer, 31 calls to 911 about prostitution in this small section of town alone. Police say the problem is fueled by buyers. That's why we joined the Cook County Sheriff's Police on an undercover sting, catching men soliciting sex in the same area where prostitutes operate. Within hours, multiple arrests were made and vehicles were towed.
She's walking up to a black Cadillac on 50th at Cicero facing eastbound. She's at the window talking, the passenger side window.
You weren't picking up a prostitute today?
No. If I was, she would be in my car. I was not. Not at all. I'm a livery driver.
Well, it's odd that you're in handcuffs, but you say you weren't looking for a prostitute.
Well, I parked in a parking lot. I literally parked in a parking lot to check my phone if my appointment up.
So you heard his excuse, and actually police hear a lot of excuses when these men are caught in the act. Tonight at 9, we are going to take a deeper dive, a deeper look into this problem. You don't want to miss it. Make sure you tune in. Scott and Dawn, I'll send it back to you.
Looking forward to it, Tia. Thank you. All right, so this is the last weekend before Thanksgiving, and I got to tell you, Emily, that 57 on Sunday is looking awfully nice.
Oh, it sure is. I just kind of bumped those high temperatures up another degree or two from yesterday's forecast. So, yes, Sunday's looking great. I think it's a forecast that a lot of Bears fans are going to be really happy about, and we're going to have dry skies, lots of sunshine going into this upcoming weekend. For now, here's the view. We're locked in with cloud cover. We've had that low-hanging cloud deck all day. That's going to continue tonight and then likely through the day tomorrow as well. Your temperatures are currently sitting at 44 degrees, and we have easterly winds only about 6 miles per hour through the overnight. We're going to see our winds becoming calm and then eventually shifting to be out of the south-southwest, but really not much higher than about 3 to 5 miles per hour. Temperatures currently elsewhere sitting in the lower 40s for most of us, and that's about where we're going to stay. Temps aren't going to change all that much during the overnight, so we have steady temperatures. That cloud cover, that's sticking around as well. Your 3-day forecast tomorrow is going to be mostly cloudy with a high of 52. We do have a chance of rain going into Friday, so scattered showers are expected to build in from the south. We'll have a high of 52. Rain's going to clear out of here by the weekend, though. Saturday looking great. Partly cloudy skies. We'll have high temperatures right around 51. Back to you.
Thanks, Emily. One restaurant loses a star while 2 others earned the prestigious award.
Yeah, the Michelin Guide announcing its awards last night. There were some disappointments and some celebrations. Sylvia joining us with details.
Yeah, this is a big night, as you guys know, for Chicago restaurants and restaurants around the country. Winning a Michelin star can catapult a restaurant, making it destination dining for foodies all over the world. At the ceremony last night, Michelin announced that Chicago's iconic Alinea restaurant was downgraded from 1 star to 2. The chef announced the news on his social media last week before before the ceremony. And while Alinea was downgraded to 2 stars from 3, Chicago's Filipino restaurant Kasama received an upgrade. It went from 1 star to 2. It now joins Alinea, Ever, and Oriole as Chicago's only 2-star Michelin restaurants. And the fine dining restaurant Feld, which opened in 2024, earned its 1st star last night and also a green star for its sustainable practices. So who exactly is responsible for these big decisions?
The stars are maybe the ultimate culinary accolade, or famously anonymous inspectors are working on the ground. You know, they are anonymous to fairly assess the quality of the restaurants, focusing on the cuisine.
And in case you didn't know, the Michelin Guide is owned by the French tire company. It came about to encourage motorists to drive more, visit restaurants and different sites, and boost car sales and tire purchases. But of course, over time, the Guide has become a prestigious benchmark for quality dining. And I have to share a fun little tidbit with you guys. I have a friend who loves to go out to eat. He goes to all these Michelin restaurants, and every time he goes to a restaurant, they think he's a Michelin inspector. So he gets the best treatment.
Nice.
So I always want to go out to eat with him.
That's funny. Well, that was good information about how the Michelin Guide came
right?
to be.
Isn't that funny?
I don't think a lot of people know that.
Yeah, it's funny.
All right,
Thanks.
good stuff, Sylvia. Well, just in time for Small Business Saturday, a new retailer opening at Navy Pier. Local Soul celebrates local artists and entrepreneurs with more than 24 vendors. The store offering a curated selection of rotating items that represent Chicago. So you can find fashion and food and art and jewelry, decor, and so much more. Every 3 months, there will be new vendors inside.
So the concept is you want to keep coming back, finding really new local treasures that you can go and bring home and enjoy for your family, and then also give you excuses to learn about different neighborhoods and different artists and businesses in these neighborhoods to help you get back out in the neighborhood. So the idea here is hopefully it's like a two-way street, getting the neighborhoods in here and getting us out more into the neighborhoods, and it just seemed like a partnership made in heaven.
It's a great idea. Small Business Saturday falls on the 29th of this month.
The oldest and longest running independent African American art center in the country is getting some help with its renovation and expansion project. The Richard Driehaus Foundation is giving the Southside Community Art Center a $2 million grant. The project will renovate the art center's current home, historic Bronzeville mansion on King Drive, and build a new addition. The art center is home to the largest permanent collection of work by Black artists in the country. Dance and music can be therapeutic and healing, and Broadway in Chicago is showing patients how. The Broadway company of A Beautiful Noise, the Neil Diamond Musical, created a partnership with the Parkinson's Foundation. One of their centers here is at Rush University Medical Center. Well, the partnership has been expanded with the North American Tour Company, so they held a workshop for patients from Rush to teach them choreography and a song from the show today. Neil Diamond, who has Parkinson's, stopped touring because he was dealing with symptoms from the illness.
Nobody should feel judged or pressured to do anything that doesn't feel comfortable or safe for them. And that's how I lead every class, no matter what the circumstances are. And what we really made today was community, and I was able to connect with so many people from this community, and that's what I love about touring, is that I get to travel the world, but I also get to meet people and see these pockets and see what people go through. And it's just such an honor to be able to talk to people that are going to come see the show in the next few days and while we're here in Chicago.
The Neil Diamond Musical has a goal of raising $1 million for the Parkinson's Foundation. The show will play at the Cadillac Palace Theater today through November 30th.
With Thanksgiving a little more than a week away now, one local group is getting ready to fill the gaps for those in need.
We have a look at how Fight to Feed is preparing to serve thousands of meals.
Communities across Chicagoland have been stepping up to help those in need this holiday season.
Fight to Feed is getting ready for its 12th annual Thanksgiving mission, preparing thousands of meals for families across the city. Gabriella Primus takes us inside.
It's a big number of mouths to feed, and luckily they have a giant freezer full of turkeys right now. This is around 400 turkeys, but they want at least 50 more. I know everyone at home won't be able to do that. But also, you can donate more than just that 50 because their services go all year round. All right, I'm going to talk to Jeanette. Jeanette is a team lead, a volunteer lead here. I know that you're very busy, but let's talk about all that you're serving for Thanksgiving. What's going to be actually on their meal that Fight to Feed is offering?
It's a great meal. We're going to serve about 5,000 people. We have turkey, mashed potatoes, gravy, dressing, cranberry sauce, green bean casserole, pie, and cornbread.
How proud are you to see all these volunteers, including yourself, thank you for what you do, that come and give their time all year round?
Well, this is fantastic because this organization is a little bit different. It's all volunteer-based. There's no government funding. And everybody that comes at the end of the meal, we do something a little special for them too. We make a family meal and everybody goes home full.
Jeanette, thank you so much. I want to make sure we get Stepper in the conversation. Now, Stepper, I'm going to have you come over here because I know that you're busy making sure things go smoothly. Let's talk about really the need that we're seeing in Chicago right now, because from what it sounds like, the SNAP lapse obviously, you know, caused a rift in things, but just in general, your numbers are growing.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're doing almost double the amount of meals than we did last year. So we're at 5,000 meals this year, and that number is just increasing due to the need for people losing the SNAP benefits and people losing their jobs. Just everybody right now is coming together and trying to rally for everybody in need. So we're really excited to be helping out this holiday season.
Like we said, you know, this is a 100% volunteer run. And that's our call to action for people at home to volunteer.
So you can sign up at fighttofeed.org, and we have volunteer slots all week next week. We also serve out of our kitchen on Wednesdays and Saturday mornings and all of our partners pick up, distribute all across the city of Chicago to feed our neighbors in need.
Yeah, not just your average, you know, food pantry operation. You guys are a food rescue operation, which is even cooler. Okay, for more information about Fight to Feed, go to our website, fox32chicago.com, and get ready to go shopping and volunteer and donate maybe those turkeys, anything else that they might need here for our community. I'll send it back to you.
I'm Lou Canellis. New owner of the White Sox went to the Vatican to ask the world's biggest White Sox fan if he'd say a prayer for the White Sox to get a new home. We'll show you what happened. And how about the Bears defense? It continues to get healthy. What about Aaron Rodgers? Is he playing Sunday? We'll have a report from Hallis Hall next in sports.
This week.
Let's check in with Emily. So we got the rain out of the way. What's next?
Just more clouds.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so we're stuck with cloud cover the next couple of days. But, you know, temperatures, they're going up in the right direction.
We'll take it.
Yes, so we're warming up into the 50s the next couple of days. And we were talking a little bit about this during the 4 p.m. show. If you are somebody who likes to set up outdoor decorations for the holiday season, take advantage of this weekend. It's going to be stunning. It's going to be dry both Saturday and Sunday. And our temperatures are going to be warming up as well. So both Saturday and Sunday looking really nice. Your 5-day forecast as far as rain is concerned, we do have showers returning to your forecast on Friday. After that, we're going to dry things out, and we stay dry until likely Tuesday of next week. Your high temperatures today, we ended up topping out in the low to mid 40s, which I know sounds really cool, but actually, for this time of the year, your average high sits right around 46, 47 degrees. So we were actually right on target. And then we're looking at above normal temperatures going throughout the next couple of days into early next week. We're going to be in the low 50s on Thursday and Friday. Saturday, 51 degrees. Then Sunday, looking fantastic for the Bears game. 57 degrees for your high. And then I still think that we're going to be very nice and warm on Monday with a high of 55. Satellite and radar. Things are quiet for now. We don't have any rainfall across the area, but we do have those low-hanging clouds. So that's going to continue through the overnight and then likely through the day tomorrow as well. So the cloud cover, it's not really going anywhere. We're going to have that gloom kind of hanging over our skies for the next couple of days. And then by Friday, we're going to be adding in that rain chance. So Futurecast then taking us into early tomorrow morning. This model here is trying to clear us out. At this point, I'm not buying it. I think we're holding onto the cloud cover for another day tomorrow. And then going into Friday, we have the storm system that begins to approach the area. Rain's going to lift in from the south and southwest. So we're going to have some showers around the area Friday morning. That's going to last through the day. But notice how it becomes a little more scattered in nature. So if you have Friday night plans, there may be a couple showers around, especially near and south of I-80. But then after that, we're going to start to dry things out just in time for the weekend. Here's your Bears forecast. Looking good for kickoff on Sunday. We're going to be in the mid-50s at noon, warming to about 57 degrees. Lots of sunshine expected too. So it's going to be a gorgeous day out there on Sunday. For tonight, 42, we'll have nice, calm winds tonight, so fairly steady temperatures as well. Your 7-day forecast tomorrow, 52. Same thing on Friday, adding in some of those rain showers. Saturday, dry skies, 51, partly cloudy, becoming mostly sunny on Sunday. Monday, we're still dry. And then we're adding in some more showers to your forecast Tuesday, possibly lingering into Wednesday. Lou?
All right, Emily, first place Bears back to work. Aaron Rodgers wants to play Sunday, won't have a final decision till Friday. What a difference a year makes. How about this? This time last season, Bears were 4-6 on a 4-game losing skid and fired offensive coordinator Shane Waldron. Today, those Bears are atop the NFC North, trying to win their 4th in a row and getting healthy for the stretch run. Cassie Carlson has more.
Aaron Rodgers didn't practice on Wednesday because of a fracture in his left wrist, but he said he hopes to be back on the field on Thursday as the Bears prepare for the Steelers and Rodgers, who holds a 24-5 record against the Bears.
He's done this at a high level for an incredible amount of time, and if he's ready to go this week, would love nothing more to compete against him.
Obviously, know the history with this city and Aaron Rodgers, so I'll be highly. I know he's going to do his best to try to go out there and play. We're all expecting him to play. We're preparing for him to play.
It's just another matchup. And then after the game, you obviously, you give him his kudos.
Caleb Williams has publicly said Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback whose game he admired the most growing up. But Ben Johnson doesn't see many similarities between the two.
Probably not right now. I think he's elite right now at getting the ball out of his hands. He's accurate. I think our guy's the same way, but we probably hold on to it a little bit more.
Probably a couple quarterbacks in the world that have been able to spin the ball the way that he does. And growing up as a kid, when you find and realize how hard it is to play this position, and you admire some of the things he's been able to do over this long career he's had.
While Williams is a ways away from being a 4-time MVP, he and the Bears are 7-3 and first in the division, but not getting ahead of themselves when it comes to playoff possibilities.
We haven't done anything yet. You know what I'm saying? We're 7-3. I get it. the city is excited, you know what I mean? Like, it hasn't been a whole lot of winning here, but we haven't accomplished nothing.
I stay away from the social media. I don't focus on any of that. And I stay present with where I'm at and make sure I stay on my routine, make sure I lead these guys. They feel my leadership. They feel my determination.
As the Bears get ready for the final stretch of their season, they are getting healthier on defense, too, with Kyler Gordon's 21-day practice window to return off IR opening today. At Hallis Hall, Cassie Carlson, Fox 32 Sports.
All right, Cassie, Rodgers has more wins against the Bears than any other quarterback in NFL history. And a few years ago, remember, he famously taunted us Bears fans, yelling, "I own you." Well, as for how he feels now, listen to this.
There's incentive for every opponent, but I have enjoyed many a Sunday and Monday and many Thursdays in that city. It's a great sports town, phenomenal sports fans, and great place to play.
Aaron, do you sort of thrive off of being the villain there a little bit? You sort of enjoy that aspect?
I'd rather not be. I mean, I'm not in Green Bay anymore. I feel like we can let bygones be bygones. Maybe I can, I guess.
You'll always be the villain. All right, White Sox are hoping a little divine intervention from the Vatican might help get them a new home, right? New co-owner Justin Ishbia met Pope Leo XIV outside St. Peter's Basilica at the Vatican. Ishbia shared his vision for a new stadium one day and invited the Pope to throw out the first pitch. Ishbia telling Crane Chicago Business, quote, "There's nothing finalized or planned at this point exactly, but our lease is up in 2029. I'm 48. In my lifetime, we will build a stadium, whether it's next year or sometime in the future. I am going to build a stadium at some point. And when I do, I want him, Pope Leo, to throw out the first pitch." As for details of that stadium plan and where things stand, Ishbia said it's Jerry Reinsdorf's decision right now in the short term. All right, Paris Schutz, host of the Chicago Report, is going to join me with the latest on the White Sox stadium plans coming up on Chicago Sports Tonight. Also, plenty more Bears coverage with Cassie, the Athletics' Dan Weeder, and Adam Hogue of CHGO. Plus, I will talk with Bears linebacker T.J. Edwards about the Bears' success, his return, and the importance of giving back to the community. Comes your way, 6 o'clock on the Fox Local app and at 9:30 here on Fox 32 Chicago. Tonight, number 8 Illinois hosts number 11 Alabama at the United Center. Tip-off is at 8 on Fox Sports 1, and the Bulls wrap up their road trip in Portland. We're right back after this.
Stream.
All right, Emily, give us an update.
All right, we have cloud cover for the next couple of days, but we're going to brighten the skies going into this weekend, which I know, Lou ordered it up. He said, Emily, where is the sunshine?
Soldier Field Sunday.
Yes, and take a look at this. Things look good for Soldier Field on Sunday. We're going to bounce up to the mid to upper 50s, and we're going to have plenty of sunshine, dry skies as well. So things are looking great this weekend, but we will have to get through a little bit of rain on Friday. Otherwise, the rest of the week should be pretty smooth sailing. And then early next week, we're staying above average because your average high now sits in the mid-40s.
All right, thank you for joining us at 5.
And now you can stream us on your smart TV with Fox Local.
We are on all the streaming platforms.
Family Feud is next. We'll see you back here at 9.